welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope y'all are doing well. If you like what you see in this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Today I'll be taking a look at Will Follow the Light, which is an indie Unreal Engine 5 title that was recently released May 7th as of this recording. So I'm just going to take a few things, take a look at the Steam overview page, take a look at the settings that I use in the game, and overall just see how the game performs. Without further ado, I'm going to get into it. Looking at the Steam overview page, you can see this game has mostly positive review, 117 review in total. Released and published by Tomorrowhead Studio. This game, when I purchased this, was $16.99, so $17. It's gone up to $19.99, $20. Looking at the recommended Steam requirement, it is recommended an Intel Core i5-10400 or Ryzen 5 3600 or 16 gigabytes memory, RTX 3070 Ti or Radeon RX 6700 XT or Intel Arc A770 DX12 version and 30 gigabytes of storage space. So yeah, I mean, so 3070 Ti is pretty steep. I mean, it's essentially asking for my RTX 2080 Ti. Again, this is another Unreal Engine 4 title. You know how I feel about this engine. I think this is the worst gaming engine in history. So I don't expect the performance to be any good. I expect the game to look and run like shit. That's what I'm going to find out momentarily. There is a shader pre-compilation step, which took roughly 4 minutes on my hardware. Keep in mind, I have an Intel Core i9-9900K overclocked to 5 gigahertz. So your mileage may vary depending on your processor. Looking at the settings page, I disabled camera shake as well as motion blur. This is what you get in the settings. And then as for display, you have borderless window, full screen window, and windowed mode. That's pretty much it. And the FPS, for some reason, it's not unlimited. It goes up to 165 FPS. And as far as settings, you get low, medium, high, and very high. I'm starting off using native anti-aliasing, but you do have DLSS performance, quality, and so on, balanced mode. I will be checking out DLSS later on. So looking at the game, this is at native resolution, native anti-aliasing, and very high graphical preset, which is the maximum graphical preset the game goes up to. As suspected, this is another Unreal Engine 5 title, so the game is very blurry, and of course the FPS is not good either, averaging at 41 FPS, and I'm in the 40s, low 40s to be exact. The game does look like shit. It's very blurry. There's a lot of ghosting around the shadows and around camera movement. That's typically the case with Unreal Engine 5 games. Games using this engine tend to look and run like shit and are very blurry as usual. And this is without fake pixel DLSS, which adds on top of that makes it even more blurry, or TAA. I don't even know what the native AA means. I don't know if it's temporal super resolution, which is Unreal Engine's default anti-aliasing, or if it's TAA. But the game is very soft and blurry, so that's the case with Unreal Engine 5 games. So no need to keep beating the same dead horse. So this game, keep in mind, is recorded using a 4K 60Hz capture card, recorded directly to my iMac, which is an external computer. So there shouldn't be any performance loss if you have similar hardware as my RTX 2080 Ti, for example, the RTX 5060 Ti, RTX 3070 Ti, or AMD Radeon RX 6800. You should get similar performance. NVIDIA Shadowplay tends to incur roughly 10 FPS loss, sometimes more, depending on the game. Also, I do have the latest NVIDIA driver installed, which is driver version 596.36, which is released on Tuesday, April 4th, 28, as of this recording. So yeah, I mean, looking at the game, you can see first line information, GPU information. It's hovering at 313 watts. Typically with this card, it's overclocked. And I have all the voltages maxed out, so it should be anywhere from 320 watts to maybe roughly like 320 to 330 watts. But it's fine. It's doing good considering it's an Unreal Engine 5 title. 99% GPU usage, which is good. VRAM is at 7.3 gigs. CPU cores, they're not evenly being utilized. There's some cores that are heavily utilized more than others, but overall the CPU percentage usage is at 15%. Temps and wattage is fairly normal. System RAM is at 10 gigabytes, which is not bad. That's one of the only good things about Unreal Engine 5 game, is that it tends to be a little bit conservative when it comes to VRAM and system memory. But yeah, I mean, we'll keep taking a look at the game and see how it performs. So here I am in the settings page. Changed to DLSS Quality mode. You can see the FPS has increased by roughly 13 to 15 FPS. Average was previously at 42, now it's at 56. So yeah, I mean, as a result, the game does look a little bit softer, quite a lot softer actually. You know, that's the nature of all these fake pixel algorithm upscalers like DLSS, FSR, XeSS, PSSR, and all these millions of flavors of fake pixel algorithm. They tend to look blurry. You know, they're really not that much better than TAA as far as like you know, screen clarity. So, but you know, it's Unreal Engine 5. What other choice do I have? Them to use all these fake pixel algorithm. Anyway, so yeah, you can see the FPS. This is the FPS GPU information, first line. GPU wattage has dropped a little as a result. Obviously, since I'm upscaling from a much lower resolution. Typically, DLSS quality, based on the Last of Us video that I recorded, quality is actually 1720 by 960, I believe, which is very low. It's very low compared to native 2560 by 1440. So that's the actual resolution, which it then upscales to my native resolution. You know, but hey, you know, that's the world we live in. A GPU of VRAM usage is under 7 gigabytes, which is typical for Unreal Engine 5 title. CPU information, you know, the cores now being a little bit more utilized. It's hovering anywhere from low 20s to high 20s as far as like overall usage. Cores, temps and wattage is fairly typical. It's in the mid to high 50s. System RAM is, you know, 10 gigabytes. So if you have a 16 gigabyte system memory machine, you should do just fine. So yeah, I mean, this is how the game looks. I'm not really overall impressed with the title. In all honesty, this is what you call a walk-in simulator. That's the term that became popular with games like Edith Finch, Gone Home, The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, which in my opinion, I think those are far better games than this. You know, those games are also available on PC if you want to check them out. They actually look better than this and definitely run better, in my honest opinion. So that just shows how much we've regressed in the gaming industry. You know, I always cringe whenever I see that logo on Unreal Engine 5. I just know the game is gonna run and look like shit. But you know, this is what we live in. Looking at frame time, it's a little bit more erratic. There's several stuttering here and there. 0.1% low is 37 FPS. Could be better. You know, it's not the worst Unreal Engine 5 title I've seen as far as like frame time, but you know, it's nevertheless it's still not smooth, right? But you know, it could be worse. So I have no hope. I have very little faith and little hope when it comes to Unreal Engine 5 title. So at this point, this is the best that I've seen in a long time. If you play recently released title like Samson, that's another Unreal Engine 5 title. That game looks and runs like absolute hot garbage. The frame time is just so erratic, right? But anyway, without further ado, you can see some of that ghosting here at the cliff when I move the camera, the shadow and the edges. Like there's this ghosting around the geometry and the shadows, which is very distracting. But yeah, so I'm going to leave some more gameplay videos of using DLSS quality. So if you like what you've seen this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Take care.
The voltage seems stable and all other systems seem normal. Now I just need to check the generator and then I can get some rest.
never seen it this bad. What's going on? Did something happen? I need to check the voltage in the backup generator. Good thing I've got the backup power running. There's something wrong with the main power. What was that? The lightning's melted the fuse box. I need to replace the lamp upstairs. To replace me.
Yeah, I get it. I'm here to call you back to the city. The comms are offline. Find Cass. She'll brief you on the situation.
Did you see the ship?
What? No.
That's odd. Did something happen in town?
You need to go now. Here, take the car keys.
Craig,
Find Cass. We'll chat about everything else later.
Okay. Thanks.
Of course. We're supposed to help each other. Always. Hurry up, Will.